ABS Engineering College, Ghaziabad, and Mr. Akhilesh Srivastava, ABES Engineering College, Ghaziabad. Now I welcome our directors to declare the conference open and say for a few words in the welcome of the dignitaries.
Thank you, Dr. Rajan, for handing over the dais to me. It is a great pleasure for me to declare this conference, National Conference on Recent Advancement in IT and Computing, and to welcome the guest speakers and participants.
For a few words in the welcome of the dignitaries.
I feel honored and it is a pleasure to welcome Chairman, Computer Society of India. It is a great pleasure for me to declare this conference, National Conference, Ghaziabad chapter, Dr. Bernard Mishkili, Professor Dr. Shubhra Sakia, Director IT Innovation Center, Tribhuvan University, Nepal, Mr. Rudan, co-founder from Serbia. I am thankful to all those that have spared their valuable time to motivate our students and faculty members. I am sure that this virtual conference organized by Department of Information Technology, Department of Computer Science and Engineering, Department of Computer Science is going to be a great success. Such conferences help students to showcase their achievements. Once again, my best wishes to all the students who are going to present their papers today. And I would like to congratulate the core team of this national conferences headed by Dr. Rajan and all the other three heads of the department who have done a wonderful job right in the last 3-4 weeks to make this conference a great success. Thank you to everyone.
Thank you so much, sir. Your thoughts, addresses set a perfect platform for our speakers to deliver their presentation. Now, it will be my pleasure speaker, Dr. Bernard Mark Scheffel, a senior scientist at Department of Information and Knowledge Management at Technische University Ilmenau, Germany. He has done his graduation in physics and electronics at TU Ilmenau and his post-graduation in information science. He earned his PhD in applied computer science. He is the member of the Colnet and the coordinator of the same since 2019. He is advisory editor of CJSIM and his research interests are scientometrological representation, information. So, ladies and gentlemen, let's together welcome Dr. Bernard Mark Scheffel.
Good morning, everybody. It's a great pleasure to be here. I hope you can hear me clearly. Let's have a look if the sharing of my presentation will work. Can you see my presentation? Can you give me a short feedback?
Yes, Professor, we can see your presentation, which is quite visible and you are audible. Yeah, please.
That's great. So now let's start. It's a great honor for me to deliver such a keynote speak for this year's conference. And I would like to thank my longtime academic friend, Professor Sidi Rajan, for giving me the opportunity to share some thoughts on academic education of engineers with you. At the beginning, yes, a short introduction of myself. My name is Bernd Marschall, as I graduated in semiconductor physics and electronics at Technische Universität Ilmenau, received a postgraduate degree in information science, a PhD in applied computer science, and now I'm a senior researcher at the Department of Information and Knowledge Management at the Faculty of Economics and Media. Here is a short as a sneak peek of our university. It's a
Yes, Professor, we can
traditional,
see your
uh,
presentation, which is quite
yes,
knowledgeable, and you have
university
already
with
covered
an
basic.
traditional engineering background. You can see the modern research cluster. This is a campus university right in the middle of Germany, as you can see here. And it's a wonderful place for studying and research. My research interests are cover the whole area, which can be, yes, generally described as the analytical potential of information from knowledge representation, information retrieval to scientometrics and science of science. In this context, I'm responsible coordinator for the Scientific Collaboration Network, COLNET. Many of you are here to become engineers, and as you can see from my vita, such a professional scientific life path is rarely straightforward and predeterminable. And if we look at the objectives of a university education, it is, yes, they are primarily focused on special subject specific education in order to offer the students an excellent preparation for the job market. But academic education must be more. Academic education must be, if we want to look at it from a very global perspective, preparation for designing and changing the world outside the university bubble, with all the big, complex socio-political problems of our time, be it corona pandemic, global warming, dealing with warlike actions. To be able to handle such conflicts, more is required of an academic education than specialized education in one discipline. Rather, it includes a broad canon of competencies from the teaching of scientific thinking, problem skills, the ability to communicate and cooperate as some of the key competencies for personal development. At the same time, intercultural experience, the formation of networks, and experiencing communities must be made possible. In order to communicate this canon of competencies, academic teaching cannot stand still. It must still evolve. Therefore, that current technical and social political challenges are directly reflected in teaching. Let me focus on two important aspects: digital transformation and interdisciplinarity as characteristics of a university education which we cultivate uh, at a modern university and which should be reflected in academic teaching. Digital transformation is one of the central challenging issues facing society, and its manifestations cover all areas of society. Keywords such as smart cities, artificial intelligence models and methods in science and culture, and the transformation of business models only partly underline the broad socio-political impact. Digital transformation in teaching and learning challenges universities to strategically design a change process whose complexity should not be underestimated. On the one hand, digitization should not be an end in itself and should be considered in all strategic processes. On the other hand, universities must also deal concretely with what the digital transformation means for teaching and learning at the respective institution. The transformation has been reflected and shaped in teaching, especially in the last in the past 1.5 or 2 pandemic years, as we have been able to replace and supplement previous rigid forms of teaching with new teaching concepts and approaches and didactic concepts, such as, for example, virtual classrooms, digital transformation in teaching and learning, digital consultation, and digital forms of examination. A change process. But it seems that the aforementioned social issues can only be understood and addressed through the cooperation and collaboration of various disciplines. The keyword here is interdisciplinarity. For example, the topic mobile work facilitates discussions on individual opportunities and requirements, but also on the redefinition of the relationship between work and leisure, as well on technical or healthcare related measures. A central competence of interdisciplinary study, research, and work is the willingness and ability to shift perspectives. The prerequisites for these are one's own reflection and the epistemological positioning. The practice of shift perspective, for example, in the context of an explanation of a concept or the interpretation of a process from different disciplines, is considered both a requirement for interdisciplinary communication, for the understanding of other points of view, and for the control of one's own statements. By expanding the scope of though gained in this way, the ability grows to be able to make a decision without losing one's orientation, despite having access to many options. Shift perspective are of great importance in our complex world, where there are often no easy answers and often divergent points of view have to be accepted. For a successful teaching and learning, it is necessary that and students reflect together on interdisciplinary competences and that both see this as an opportunity for further development thinking and interacting. This implies interdisciplinary in style of thinking and the development of interdisciplinary competencies through interdisciplinary courses, through interdisciplinary oriented degree programs. But the ability to be able to make a decision action also means developing skills that help to build relationships with other people, to communicate, or simply to accept other people in their thinking and actions. Successful interaction with others require a high level of communication, empathy, and conflict skills. Social skills are increasingly demanded as soft skills in the working world. They are an integral part of recruitment processes and also a central component of professional reality when communicating with further clients or customers. In order to interact successfully with other people, the ability to express oneself clearly and comprehensively to others is just as elementary as being able to interpret messages from others, especially in an interdisciplinary teaching and learning setting. Proper dialogue and understandable language is are of partly particular importance. The ability to work in team is constantly mentioned as an important social competence. To interact with other people and their ways of thinking and to communicate with them is indispensable for interdisciplinary interaction. Many projects are based on teamwork and only become possible through the combination of different fields of knowledge, experience, and perspective. So let me finally introduce COLNET, called a global interdisciplinary research network. The increasing cooperation in science and technology that can be observed worldwide in the national and international level has acquired such an outstanding significance that it seemed necessary to study these processes in order to gain fundamental insights and its application in science and technology policy. Increased interest has been observed, especially in the treatment of these international issues. Due to the diversity these promising results can only be achieved against the background of an interdisciplinary approach and under intercultural aspects. This growing importance of collaboration in research were the motivation for the foundation of the Global Interdisciplinary Research Network, collaboration in science and technology. COLNET is visible to the scientific community in two major ways. On the one hand, through the COLNET Journal of Scientometrics and Information Management. It is a half-year founded in 2007, published by Taylor and Francis, UK, in cooperation with Taru Publication Daily. And the COLNET Journal publishes research and articles on scientometrics and information management, including bibliometric analysis and quality assurance model. And the second way for visibility, the COLNET community, is the annual COLNET conference, where I'm very pleased to invite you all for this year's conference, which will take place from November 10th till 12th at difficult name, Chulalongkorn University in Bangkok. Bangkok, Thailand's #1 university, and we look forward to your valuable contributions. Please accept my best wishes for the, and I hope to see a lot of you again in Bangkok. Stay good health, and thank you.
Keynote presentation on challenges of adapting cloud computing, cloud governance. Okay, I will share my screen.
Sir, sorry to introduce you.
Okay.
Let me give you your brief profile to the audience.
Okay, please.
Please give me some time.
Okay.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you.
I welcome sir. He is Professor Dr. Suban Shakya. He holds PhD in Computer Engineering from Liv Polytechnic National University, Professor of Computer Engineering at Department of Electronics and Computer Engineering, Perchok Campus, Institute of Engineering, Tribhuvan University, and also a visiting professor in Brown University, Rhode Island, USA. He is also a director of IT Innovation Center, Tribhuvan University. He served as executive director at National Information Technology Center, Government of Nepal, and also head of Department of Electronics Brown University, Department of Electronics and Computer Engineering, Director of Center for Information Technology, and Chairman of Electronics and Computer Engineering Subject Committee, Institute of Engineering, Tribhuvan University. Information Technology Center, Government of Nepal, and he has also served as coordinator of Eureka, that is European Research and Educational Collaboration with Asia, ideas, innovation and design for Euro-Asian scholars, and leader, links in Europe and Asia for engineering, education, enterprise, and research exchanges. He is also the advisor member of National Information Technology Committee, that is Government of Nepal. He has delivered over 30 keynotes and invited speeches at international conferences and workshops. He has published over 150 scientific technical articles and 5 books. He has been serving as an editor guest for over 15 international journals. He is the member of Board of Studies, South Asian University, India. He is the life member of Indian
Renuka madam, thank you very much for introducing me. Yeah. Thank you very much. I'm sharing my screen now.
member of Board of Studies, South Asian University, India. Member of Indian
Visible?
Yes.
Mentioned by my keynote talks organized as follows: concept of e-government, then after that the challenges affecting the adoption of cloud governance service and overcome these challenges, then discussion, and then finally is the conclusion. So e-government, and there is e-governance is there. E-government refers to the use by government agencies of information and communication technologies that have the ability to transfer relation with citizens, businesses, and other arms of the government. These technologies can serve variety of different ends. That means better delivery of the government service to citizens, improve interaction with business and industry. Then after that, citizen empowerment through the access to information or more efficient government management. The resulting benefit can be less corruption, increased transparency, great convenience, revenue growth, and cost reduction. The challenges in the e-government is ICT infrastructure, security and privacy is the main challenges, management important parts, this is also one of the challenges, social influence and awareness is the another part. And cloud computing, we can focus is an internet-based computing where all the shared resources, software and information are provided to the computers and devices on demand. Cloud computing is the type of computing that provides simple, on-demand access to pools of highly elastic computing resources. User can access the information from anywhere, any place. And cloud computing architecture basically refers to components and sub-components required for cloud computing. This component typically refers to front end, that means flat client, thin client is the example. Back-end platform are servers and storage, and cloud-based delivery and the network, that means internet, intranet, and inter-cloud. Hosting our cloud, there are three layers in the cloud computing. Companies use these layers based on service they provide: infrastructure, platform, and as well as the application. And cloud computing models are deployment models, service model, and types of clouds are public, private, hybrid, and community cloud. These are the fundamentals of in the cloud computing. In the deployment models, private cloud means system and service to easily accessible to the general public. Public cloud may be less secure because of its openness. In the private cloud, allows system and service to be accessible within an organization. It is more secure because of its private nature. Then community means allows system and services to be accessible by the group of organization. Hybrid means mixture of public and private cloud in which the critical activities are performed using private cloud, where the non-critical activities are performed using the public cloud. And this is the SPI model: software as a service, platform as a service, and infrastructure as a service. In the case of That means IAS is the most basic level of service. Each of the service model inherit of the security and the management mechanism from the underlying model. Infrastructure as a service is to provide fundamental resources such as physical machines, virtual machine, and virtual storage. Platform means is provide a runtime environment for the applications development and deployments, and software as a service is the use application as service to end user. And this is the common factor of these SPI models are pay per use, instant scalability, security, and as well as the reliability. That means API application programming interface. And my main talks is why we are adopting the cloud governance. Cloud governance is the most important in nowadays because the traditional e-government is not sufficient to implement the e-government applications of the government. It is the set of policies or principles that act as the guidance for adopting use and management of the cloud technology services. It is ongoing process that must sit on the top of the existing governance models. It is the set of rules you create to monitor and demand as necessary in order to control cost. We can improve the efficiency and eliminate the security risks. This model aims to secure applications and data even if located instantly. Then after that, the best cloud governance solution include people, process, and technology. These are the most important. Without people, without process, without technology, we cannot solution the cloud governance. It is mainly refers to decision-making processes, criteria, and policy involved in the planning, architecture, acquisition, deployment, operations, architecture, acquisition, implementation, operation, and management of cloud computing capabilities. Why cloud governance? In Nepal also, we are adopting the cloud governance nowadays, traditional government into cloud governance, because why we are implementing cloud governance? Main is the IT budget and infrastructure and IT personnel. Infrastructure is changing every day by day or maybe 6 months, 3 months. Is difficult to purchase the new devices and as well as the new training is also important. That's why the infrastructure, we can use the same infrastructure and there is no need to different in the department of all the departments of the government. We can use the same infrastructure in all the departments and government agencies. That means no need to change in individual. That's why the infrastructure is most important. IT budget also every year is difficult to maintain the budget. That's why we need to convert into cloud governance. And personals, IT personals are they are changing. They are going and migration in other different countries. It's difficult to train and new recruitment is difficult. Only new recruitment is not sufficient because we need to train and train human resources in this particular case. So cloud governance objective is to develop cloud computing services for the government agencies to help providing the IT infrastructure services to government agencies. Then after that, make use of government IT budget wisely to lift the country e-government to higher level. Cloud governance service are what and vision. What means usage base is the most important, and I already mentioned about the SPI model. This is the SaaS PaaS and infrastructure as a service. Then after that, we can reduce time for purchasing and implementing. For example, I am going to give you in the COVID pandemic situation. In this particular case, Tribune University, we have very difficult to manage the online classes at that time, and we talk with Microsoft, and Microsoft they can provide us Microsoft Team platform. This is the cloud-based e-learning platform. Then easily we can create the username of all faculties, students. They can then after that we can learn. We can run the cloud e-learning platform. It is easily. Then after that, after a few days, we can conduct the online classes at that time, and it is easy. There is no need to purchase the equipments, and we can easily implementing in this particular case. That's why we can use the time and easy to implementation when we are using the cloud governance. One of the example in the e-learning platform. Then vision. The vision is reduce the government cost. Of course, the EMS team is the free for the education institution and government, and they can provide the freely for us. That means we can reduce the cost. Reduce residency of IT infrastructure by shift repairing. And then after the second one is service level agreement based, guarantee services, then on-demand service, any facility, anywhere, anytime. The next is the challenges. There are so many challenges to adopting the cloud governance. Security and privacy. Security is the one of the concern things in the cloud computing. This is the online based. That's why everybody is accessing. That's why we have to make it very secure way. Somebody, if you want to students or researchers, if they want to do research in this area, you can focus in security and privacy also, because this is the challenges. Security requirement must be fulfilled on several layers, where the implementation of cloud computing includes advanced security technologies. Data protection and compliance, another challenges. Some data protection regulations do not allow the storage of sensitive data in other countries, which is basically not accomplished by most cloud service providers. Then another is the interoperability and the data portability. This is the lack of standard when using and implementing cloud computing services. User should be able to change between cloud service provider with the minimum risks and cost. So the government may need to adopt open standard policies for the cloud. Many governments decide to use ICT system that consistent to open standard in order to save the cost, or that can take place when using non-standard system. The another challenges is identity and access management. In this particular case, as cloud computing services rely completely on the availability and speed of the internet as shared between consumer and service provider, speed and availability will be an issue. That means internet access and speed. Bandwidth is the most important here. Auditing. Cloud providers currently do not offer detailed auditing possibilities, where an auditing becomes essential in situations where compliance to specific regulation or policy must be verified. The benefit of cloud governance. By using the cloud governance, there are so many benefits also there. Scalability, flexibility. I already mentioned about the cost reduction, and this is pay per use, and system integration is very easy and efficient way. And my discussion of this presentation is challenges are technological, organizational and environment. Technology also we have to very challenges is there, so we have to make it easy and efficient way, organization as well as environment. Technologies and organizational challenges can be seen as lapses in the IT governance in the countries, which must be managed by the organization, senior management. And then after next is the IT management concern the security regulation provided by the cloud computing provider, which means they have to pay attention to adopt new technologies. Accordingly, decision must be made to ensure effective use of adoption of the cloud governance system. Then after that, finally, the significant influence in the adoption of the cloud governance concern security and privacy, which needs to improve the process to mitigate against high risks. My conclusion of my presentation is cloud computing is the actual working to help break down the barriers of many government to ensure new phases of collaboration and as well as the partnering, sharing services and pooling the resources. Is offer an effective way to share the information between the citizen. Then after that, reducing effort in providing services, budget management and the cost effective. Challenges of the cloud governance and investigate the importance of new technology to be adopted in the implementing e-governance such as cloud computing, which provide the overall strategy and techniques to manage the e-government content in general. By adopting cloud governance, the benefit are the cost reduction as well as the pay as per use. Challenges affecting the adoption of a cloud governance like security concern, lack of awareness, and poor ICT infrastructure. We have to increase this infrastructure and security. We have to work in these areas, do the research, how we can give the better service and security service to the customer, and lack of awareness is another part. Some recommendation that could lead to increase the adoption of a cloud governance system to overcome the obstruction in their limitation to deliver online services. Recommendation are cloud computing is the one of the best solution to overcome the lack of IT infrastructure from keeping up with the requirements of high quality of the e-government. Then additionally, in cooperation of cloud technology will provide a positive opportunity to reduce the cost in the development of the e-government system. These are a few differences, and thank you very much. Okay, thank you. If you have any questions, reduction as well as the pay as per use. Hello.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir. I don't think so anybody's having any question. You have explained it so well.
So
So thank you so much, sir, again for your wisdom on cloud computing. With it. Our next speaker is Mr. Sinisha Rudan, Faculty of Chaos, Science and Arts for Humanity and Culture, Belgrade, Serbia. Mr. Rudan is a great thinker, philosopher, and motivator for shaping the career of upcoming youth in European subcontinent. We are very fortunate to have you here, and our participants would love to hear from you.
Then additionally, in cooperation of cloud technology will provide a positive
Mr. Sinisha Rudan.
development of the e-government.
Yeah. Hello, Dr. Renuka. I hope you hear me well.
Yeah, sir. I can hear you.
Yeah.
We all can hear you, sir.
Thank you for having me here. And thank you, Mr. Sidirajan, Professor Sidirajan, for inviting me here. I'm very lucky to being years ago in your country and being inspired by your country, and then going back to my part of the world and staying in contact and sharing our mutual experiences. So I would like to share. I'm not so much using Meet, Google Meet, but to share my screen. Oh, let me see what's the best. Do I have? Yeah, okay. There is screen. Just please give me a second to share my screen, and then I will. And not in meantime to kill anything on this screen. I hope you still hear me well.
Yes, sir. You are audible. You are clearly audible.
Okay, thank you. Mhm. Okay, so I think it's on my screen at least. Okay.
Our next speaker is Sinisha Rudan, Faculty of Chaos, Science and Arts for Humanity and Culture, Belgrade, Serbia. Mr. Rudan is a great thinker, philosopher, and motivator for
Is
shaping
my
the career
screen?
of upcoming youth in European subcontinent. No, sir, it's not visible. We are very fortunate to have you here, and our participants would love to hear.
Okay. Okay. As far as I see, it seems that I will have to. Sorry for this inconvenience. I will have to actually
We all can hear.
turn off my web browser to allow him sharing of the screen. Seems so. I will try to do it without breaking the connection, but because I'm using connection for Google Meet. Sorry, I will have to. It seems that I will have to disconnect for 10 seconds. Sorry for the inconvenience. Just to to restart my Google Chrome to allow me sharing the screen. Google Meet, but
Okay.
It's
sorry
okay.
for that inconvenience. But it seems that it's only a way I try to do it without it. Just please give me a second to share my screen, and then I will. And not in meantime to kill anything on this screen. I hope you still hear me well.
Yes, sir, you are audible. Dear audience, you are clearly audible. Our speaker is trying to connect. Thank you so much.
Okay, so I think it's on my screen at least. Okay.
Our next speaker is Sinisha Rudan, Faculty of
Dr.
Chaos,
Byrne,
Science
whenever you visit India, try to come to our college.
Belgrade, Serbia. Mr. Rudan is a great
Just for me, prior to coming to India, we will invite you in our
Yes,
campus.
sure. I think I will appreciate it.
Yeah.
Okay. Okay. As far as I see,
So
it
last year,
seems
Colnet was in
that
Delhi, I think.
I will have. I will.
No, we
I will
tried
have
to
to actually
organize it in
turn off my web browser to allow
Sri
me
Lanka.
due to COVID restrictions. We had to postpone it.
I
The
will
last
try
conference,
to
very
without
interesting,
breaking the connection, but
was
because I'm
in
using connection for
2019 in Dalian.
sorry,
Yeah, in
In
Delhi, I think.
Dalian,
it seems that I will have to disconnect for 10 seconds. Sorry for the inconvenience. Just to
it was
to
very
restart
interesting to
my
see
Google
all the
Chrome to
buildings
allow
and
me.
all the people we met
Okay.
10 years ago.
Sorry for the
13, I think,
inconvenience.
2013.
It's
No,
only way I
10,
try
10,
to
I think. 9 or 10.
2009.
do it
Yes.
without it. Please give me a second to share my screen, and then I will. And not in the meantime to kill anything this screen. Here, I hope
So
you
by
can
the time,
hear
can we
me.
invite H.S. Sharma, sir?
Dear audience,
Hello,
I
Sini,
think,
sir.
sir, he's connected. Thank you so much.
Oh,
Okay, so I think it's on my screen at least. Okay. So I'm back. If you still change somebody
Dr. Bal,
else speaking for
whenever
me.
you visit India, try to come to our college.
Yes, sir. You are
Just
audible.
for me, prior to
Okay.
coming to India,
So should I try to
we will
continue, or
invite
you
you in
maybe
our
switch
campus.
the agenda to somebody
I think I
speak
will
No,
before me
sir.
appreciate
while
it.
waiting?
You can
Okay.
continue, sir. We are waiting for you.
Okay. Thank you very much. And sorry for the inconvenience. I think that now I have.
So last year,
Okay.
Colnet was in
So
Delhi, I
I
think.
hope that you see my
No,
presentation.
we tried to organize it
Yes, sir. It's
in
visible now.
Thank you very much.
Sri Lanka.
Uh,
due to COVID
okay.
restrictions. We had to
Okay. So
postpone it. The last
I'm
conference was
talking
very
here
interesting.
today, as you introduced me, on behalf of
Was
several
in
organizations that have so
2019
far mm,
in Dalian.
relying on
Yeah, in Delhi, I think.
technology advances and IT advances, both
It
to,
was very
to,
interesting to see
to
all the
develop
buildings
the
and
goals, to
all
achieve the goals that they
the
have
people
in
we
front of
met.
themselves, and
Hello.
in the
I
students
think,
here
sir, he's
at
connected.
our conference, those emotional artistic ones. And when I say inside of their brains, I also think the collective brains that, as I'm going to put it more clearly later to through the presentation. Uh, and
Dr. Bal,
we're going to see
whenever you visit India,
how
try
these
to come to our
um,
college.
technologies
Yes, sir.
are
You
really
are audible.
trying to not not to do the advancements per se in the in the area of technology, but also in the
No, sir.
area of
You can
sustainable
continue, sir.
development and so on.
We are waiting for you.
So thank you very much, and sorry for the inconvenience. I think that why is why important, and many of the students when they come at the moment
Yes,
of
sir.
their
It's visible now.
first traction with the real world, the world of possibility of having their own startups designed about around the technology that they were harvesting and learning through the academic research and later work as developers, as engineers. Uh, what they're going to be thought there is to put why before what. So not what you are doing, what technologies you are using, uh, what is your latest development, how did you do it, but why. There is a big reason in the startup world to start with that why question when you are even when you are giving some IT technology product out there, the new solving the using the most advanced technology, there is before that the oldest question of why, and that is to connect yourself with the person that where you pitch through it, either the investors, either the community that is there to support your technology product. So that's why you are often taught, instead of to start to what, how, and why, but to start with why you're doing what you're doing, then how you are going to do it, or you're already doing it, and then what is precisely what you're doing. And when and if we go with that direction, instead in the area of the project, in the area of your startups, why in that sense uh, wouldn't we start our careers in that sense, start our individual post gradual development, instead of just like when we are there to pitch, like, okay, we want to connect it with why. So that's why I explain how it work very well for you when you are there to pitch yourself as a future employee or researcher or your startup. But in the same time, now I'm going to talk to you why it's important for you to start thinking about your future career in the same way. And what I'm going to explain to you, that you can connect leading IT technologies and put them in harmony with leading eco-social good efforts. And I will start my story with the guy that I think not too many people, even in IT world, have heard of, and that's Engelbert. Doug Engelbert. I had I had opportunity and the real pleasure to work with people that was working with him in his laboratory, and they inspired me. And I want to inspire you by the story about this guy. Uh, and this guy, uh, you see where he lived, 1920. He was born 1925, and the point is that he invented like the things that many of us depend on now. And people from Silicon Valley told once, like, when we use all the inventions by Doug Engelbart, what we are going to do the next? That's like that's the big question. And he started his career as a soldier, like being on some islands far away after the Second World War, and thinking about that the same question that I put in front of you. It's why I'm going to do what I'm going to do. Still, he was still not there to what he's going to do, but he was thinking why. Uh, how can I contribute to this world to change it to be better? And then he said, okay, like there are many complex problems, and they're getting more and more complex. And he said, okay, like I cannot do it by myself. There are thousands of people need to solve these kind of the problems. What can I do? I'm not a thousand people, I'm just a one. But what I can do is like help them collaborate together. How I can do that? I can use there's something called computers into like 40s, 50s. Maybe that can help in connecting the people. And the point is, what I'm saying, why I'm saying this, that at that moment, the computers were just crunching machines. Nothing about collaboration, nothing about what he had put the road on where we are right now. And he said, had the paradigm, okay, maybe this can help the next. That's in solving the world issues. And he said, but I don't know nothing about computers. And he said, okay, so that it means I have to uh, enroll in the faculty and to learn about computers. And then after that, he made the mother of all demos, where he presented video conferencing, hyperlinks, text editing, everything, like so much in front of the time that people thought that this is like all like some uh, pre-recorded. It's not happening in real-time interaction between like different cities and so on. So this is one of the things that can help you how to change your paradigm about thinking about why. The second thing is, I don't know how many people here recognize this guy, but the point is that this guy uh, made his biggest researches in the beginning of 20th century in the area of telecommunications, now leading to IT. and energy, vision, and he's just beginning to be understood in his magnitude in 21st century. And it's no by accident that the like Elon Musk's Tesla cars, a car industry is named after him, and it's Nikola Tesla. And it's interesting, like for you that you are living in India, from India, that I found the connection between Nikola Tesla and Vivekananda, Swami Vivekananda. I will see if I have my notes here precisely, saying, okay, not to lose your more time, but my I was trying to see my notes here, but okay. What he said, like I'm going, Swami Vivekananda said that he was going from India to United States of America, New York, where Tesla was researching that time, to see the scientists that's going to make the connection between energy and materia. And the point why I'm saying to you is about Tesla, that today the Tesla conception of the world system, so-called, is something that brings us email, voice over IP, VPN, podcast, GPS system, telecommunications rely on him. Everything that we are using today, like electricity, would not be the same without him. So most of the students here, most of the engineers, researchers of the great name, would say, I would like to be like Tesla. I would like to be celebrated like him. But the point is that Nikola Tesla was not doing that for the same goal that some of us might put there for the kind of the celebrity, being that kind of celebrity. But he had there one biggest why. And that is why the wars are happening around the world. And that he said, okay, it's because of the fight for the resources. And he said, okay, what are the resources there? He said energy, of course, and even that he envisioned information. And he said, okay, if we make these resources free, then there will be no more wars. And then he made a creation of the humanity growth, explaining these things. But the point is that he was fighting, to say it like that, for the freedom of these and free sharing of these resources. And that's why led to the biggest inventions in the IT and technology world by him. I would like to speed up over some slides now, not to take too much time after this introduction. But you will find that the biggest motivation for your research and technological advances will come from your intrinsic motivation. And there are three things, according to self-determination theory, that can drive that motivation. Competency, you have it and you feel it through your development. Autonomy, but what I want, autonomy in your work. And that's the cause of gamification, the leading gamification in the recent decade. But the relatedness to bigger goods is something that I want to put the focus in this presentation. And I just want to to remember this, and you can put it down later in your search. Ikigai, a Japanese concept meaning a reason for being. so just use it later if you feel inspired to find your direction in your vocation, your professional research. So what is that you love to do? What is the good that you are? What are the world needs that you want to fulfill? And what you can be paid for? And then also try to search for responsible research and innovation. In my part of world in Europe, it is really leading the projects for which one you can get the money for the big projects in Horizon 2020 and so on, if you focus on responsible research and innovation and not just on technology advancements and the return of the profits. And there are 5 P's that I want to put in front of you that can direct your future research and development. Peace, partnerships, people, and prosperity. And here is the slide where I hope that everybody, and from my research and working with people, educating them regarding their individual goals, I think that each of your individual goals can be connected with some of these goals. So just take a second here and watch those while I'm speaking. And these are the sustainable development goals. After hard work of the multiple countries designed here to be to leading humanity through using technology, AI, and many other cutting edge IT technologies to fulfill these goals and solve these issues of the world. Uh, and back to application. I'm just putting at the beginning like the most simple case when you see here, like if you want to do mobile healthcare, if you want to help the goal of good health and well-being, SDG goal 3, goal number 1, about like AI, whatever is actually you're going, there is like, do you see a smartphone here, or do you expect broadband internet? You're going to focus, if you trying to solve these technical issues, these SDGs, you're going to focus on low level technology to support even those things that we find and think of them as granted. Uh, if you think about IT solutions for e-waste, and these are 4 SDG goals that you can support when you are, if you're choosing to go to this direction. If you find these 4 SDG goals inspiring you, okay, your future work, then you can think about IT solutions for e-waste. And it's a huge amount of resources, financial resources, and financial benefits there. And just to mention that there is China's e-waste recycling app that goes global, and it uses AI algorithms for e-waste. All the IT cutting technologies that can help in these 4 SDG goals to be solved. And I'm happy that in my research and in my development, I've been part of the global space development ecosystem that is like focusing on these 3 goals that are being used around the world. Um, and actually, it is connected to Doug Engelbert's mission in creating social nervous system around the world, helping people in collaborating. A lot of the organizations are connected around the world, working on these goals. And I would like to kind of finish in that sense, where we have a technology ecosystem where we can combine like many SDG goals in supporting, in this case, the climathon. And the climathon is the biggest climate action around the world, which we support with the EcoCollabo platform, with its key features, semantically described workflows of the teams working, cross-border dialogue, where we use natural language processing, international knowledge sharing, team building methodologies, and when you go further, you're going to see, and that's my one of the key points. And actually, it is connected to Doug Engelbert. No matter how much technological advance you want to bring to the world, no matter how much on the cutting edge you want to work with, there is still place for your enjoyment. There is still place for play, and the recent gamification is proved in the case of all these photos that represent the work that my team has been giving around the world, where people were using these applications. And Play Sustainability is one of the awarded games that we are developing using technology for collaboration of teams and their feeling of play, and contributing to it. And just like to put the slide here, we were working recently with representatives of MIT labs in US, and they're developing a supermind, augmented collective intelligence system. And for the partnership, for the goal, this final SDG 17, there is a lot of the things that we need to use, like from AI, from in identifying the signals in the information, uh, uh, using a lot of the NLP for cross-country, cross-language collaboration, where we can achieve the momentum and the possibility of uniting human brain in collaboration with AI brains, and to visualize all these results from the AI to be able to actually connect with each other, and with that uh, augmented, let's say, augmented brain that connects of the AI and the human brains. So in this short time, I had like possibility, like just to glide through reasons to connect the technology development, cutting technologies with your inner reasons, and then like to put just some slides there, and later maybe you will be able to go through them to see what those cutting technologies are that can be used there in this connection between you and the better world. Thank you for your time.
Thank you so much, sir. It was really interesting and thought provoking. You have given us a glimpse of renowned personalities named Douglas Engelbart, Nicole Tesla, who are inspiration for you. And from now onwards, they are the inspiration for us also. And I wish we should also read about other scientists as you suggested and motivated ourselves with their work. We assure you that we would definitely work on it. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thank you.
Now I will take an opportunity to welcome our last speaker, Professor Dr. S.H. Sharma, the Vice Chancellor of Himalayan University, immediate past chairman of IEI Ghaziabad, and the council member of IEI and the National Secretary of Rashtriya Sainik Sanstha. His educational qualifications are BE, NESC, PGS, BMLA, MSc, ALCCS, AMTech, PhD from IIT Delhi, DLET, and DSc. Apart from his educational qualifications,